maybe it was Ohio State before my era. Then during my era was Indiana and Illinois a lot. I think those days are over where anybody's going to hold superiority over anyone else. Even Duke and Carolina, you're going to start to see, because of the way recruiting is, because of the way players want to go wherever they can play. I won't say it'll get like the NFL kind of gets, where mediocrity, everybody's 4-4, but I think the dynasties of the UCLA days, I think are gone for any of us. So I don't look at any changing of the guard. I look at right now, if you ask me in our league, there's 10 very, very good teams and a couple that are coming up. But I could see team 8 or 9 winning the league. We weren't supposed to be so good last year. We won the league. There's just not enough difference between them. And that's nationwide. That's not in the Big Ten. It's not Michigan State, or Indiana, Illinois.
Yeah, I'm thinking more. Indiana's got that tradition, and Tommy. It's a program that has a lot of pieces in place.
Right. There are tradition programs. In Indiana, I think in our league would definitely be considered, and deservedly so, just like Duke and Carolina. Kentucky and Kansas, when everybody asks me, I would say we're not there yet. Because you can't do it for 50, 60 years. But I don't think that's going to happen as much as it used to. But those programs that had that got a little bit of a plus still, And one thing about Indiana is the fans in Indiana are basketball knowledgeable fans, and it's been that way forever. So you get a good coach in a state that has good players, and you're going to have a good program. Tommy is the right guy for that job, and he's going to have a good program. But I don't see it being like years ago where there's 2 programs and then the rest. I think you're going to see 7, 8 programs every year, and a lot of these conferences battling each other.
Is it going to be hard to play him with the relationships that you guys have?
Oh, yeah. Because not only the relationship, but I always look at him as a guy that helped me build my program, not as a guy that was my assistant. And because of that, I got to do my job on that night, he's got to do his, but the respect I have from him is very much deeper than a game or two. And it's always hard to play with friends. Nobody wants to play with friends. But we're all in jobs and businesses, and the longer, I look at Nick Saban, and the longer he's in it, he's putting out head coaches that are competing within his own league, and a lot of them. And it's just the way it is. It's the nature of the beast.
You mentioned that Michigan State had won 4 over Michigan and nobody seemed to notice. Do you think Michigan State gets its fair due in the Big Ten? Indiana's number 1 and everybody does backflips. You went to so many consecutive tournaments and Final Fours, and yet we're hearing about Indiana, Kentucky, and Louisville being the standard again today at the media days.
Does it bother me, or do I think it's fair?
Do you think Michigan State? Well, obviously you're asking if it bothers you, so you must think there's something to it that State doesn't get its due from a national perspective.
Somewhat, sometimes. Because I think for 15 straight years, we've almost done some things that nobody's done. Number of Final Four, conference championships, we're right up there with Kansas in that period of time. I think in some ways we're in rare air, but then again, there must be more things I like, because I had chances to leave, and I like what we do, and that's what I'm constantly working for. Everybody wants respect for their program. That's the number one thing I want. I don't want anything else, but they say every time they play, you know what, you got your work cut out. You know what, they're going to be there. They're going to be there at the end. And same with my program. They do it the right way, and I think they've done it the right way. We've played the toughest schedule, and I don't think anybody can argue that we played the toughest schedule in the last 15 years in our conference as anybody. And I think the people that matter know. I think sometimes, know, you got to have that tradition you were talking about. That maybe not happen in my lifetime, because the tradition we're talking about are 40, 50, 60-year traditions. Kentucky, Kansas, you know, Alabama, something like that. I mean, that's part of what you got to live with.